Hey guys, it's Lisa with the Vintage Gypsy. I also run a Facebook page called Syllabus Cameo School for Newbies. If you are a newbie or you know newbies, send them over to our page and check it out. I'm going to show you real quick today how to cut without a mat. A couple things that you need to do is you need to go to your page setup first of all. First, you're going to look like this when you come in. You're going to have a mat behind it. You got to take the mat off. See how my mat shows up? Click on the cutting mat and choose none. The other thing you need to make sure of that you know is when you put in this material, whether it's blue stencil vinyl or whatever, which is what I'm going to show you how to load, you need to make sure that you've adjusted your cut settings. What that means is it's going to probably cut all the way through if you use your normal settings that you always use. So like if I use this for my regular stencil vinyl, so my force is 16. But I create one without a mat, my force is 11. If I left it at 16, it would cut all the way through that stencil material, and then I'd lose a mile of material, and I say bad words. Okay? All right. Those are the two things that you need to do. Now, I'm going to show you my machine. Hopefully you can see everything. I have my blade installed, right? And you can see over here, here is my roller. My roller is all the way where it typically should be when you get your machine new or not. You can adjust this and move this over because you need to make sure that whatever piece of material, I have a short piece today, whatever piece of material you put in here is long enough. So it has to be able to catch the roller on this end and the roller on this end. If it does not have something to grab onto, this roller does not, it will slip. And then when it slips, your vinyl starts doing this crazy stuff and you waste a lot of money. Okay. Now you can move this lever, turn it, push it down, unlock this. There's a lock and unlock here. If you have a Cameo 3, unlock it, and then you can slide it down. If you want to make sure that it's not going to move. The other thing you can do is on the sides of your vinyl or your materials, you can put a piece of blue painter's tape, fold it over in half, and that allows it to something to grab onto it with a roller. Now I cut rolls of vinyl, so typically what I'll do with my vinyl is I'll cut it a little bit wider on each side, then I don't have to worry about that. So once you have this moved over, lock it back, and it will actually click when it's locked in place, and then lift your lever back up. If you don't lift it back up, it'll swing all around, okay? The other thing you're going to do is you need to make sure it's lined up with that blue line right there. So put it in, line it up. Now, if it's a little bit bigger, I will overlap that line a little bit just to make sure it has enough space. I always want something for this little roller to grab a hold of. Then I'm going to hit load. Okay. And it should load and line up with this, the top of this little white, it looks like a piece of like glossy tape to me. And that's what your mat does too. If you look at it and it's crooked at all, that means it did not load correctly. So that's what you want to watch for, is that there. So if I unload it, line it up with my line, hit load, and it should load right back in. See what it did? It crimped up because I wasn't paying attention. So unload it again. And sometimes you have to play with it and hold it in place to get it there, lightly. See the difference? So that's the stuff that you're going to watch out for when you're loading without a mat. And then you just simply go back to your screen over here. See, I'm back in my page setup now. And then you would go to send. One more tip in this area. Under page setup, your mat is typically, say if you want to cut something that's 24 inches long, if you look, you can see that this is not 24 inches, it's actually 23 inches. So change and make sure you cut that material a little bit longer. So you're going to have to cut it, I would cut it at least for 25 inches long. That way you make sure that it cuts. I usually will do 26 just to be on the safe side because I don't want to have to cut it again and waste any. So make sure your show your cut border is on, that you've made it a couple inches longer in the software and on your material as well. And now when you go over to send, okay, you want to make sure that you have allotted for not having a mat. So remember, my blue stencil vinyl with a mat, my force is set for 16 with a mat. If I change it back to my blue stencil vinyl without a mat, my force is 11. If you do not adjust your force down, it will cut all the way through that material, and then you'll waste a lot of money and be really mad. So those are the things I want to tell you about cutting without a mat. Super easy. Move the roller over, adjust your settings, and you're good to go. You shouldn't have a problem at all. If you think you're going to have an issue, do a test cut. Once your test cut is golden, then you're good. Excuse me. And do your own custom setting for that. That way you always have it and you don't forget it. All right, you guys have a good night. I will talk to you later.